Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Chiefs win the game by 10, or 27-17. 10, the Chiefs to return to what was normal. Chiefs dropped Mr. Terrible. Sky Moore was out on the field. He got just one snap. And for one of those snaps, he fumbled. Right next to him, Kadarius Toney, who had 2 drops in like 5 yards. 7 balls were dropped. Rasheed Rice was very good. He went for 90 yards. Maybe the Chiefs just throw to Justin Watson sometimes. Rasheed Rice a lot. Noah Gray. Travis Kelce's looked like he's lost a step. The Chiefs have to start either not playing Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, which the Chiefs have done all year. Most of the year, the Chiefs' defense was good. 4 sacks, a turnover. And the Patriots had 3 sacks, a turnover. One was when Kadarius Toney dropped it right into their hands because he dropped another ball. Chiefs' Clyde Edwards-Helaire was better. Jim McKinnon was fine. Chiefs maybe should keep Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago, but he's looked better. They need a little more depth on that. Jim McKinnon turns 32. Final score was 27-17. Patrick goes for 305. 2 interceptions. One was by Toney. As we mentioned, here's Jason Anderson with Jason Anderson Smack, as we're going to call it. As he says, get rid of Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore.
After the interception. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that's a different tone now with the game plan moving forward and personnel and things like that as opposed to in the game. But it wasn't an immediate benching. He wasn't out there for the first play of the next drive. He was out there for the second play of the next drive, which, let me tell you, he came off the field and Andy Reid talked to him when he came off the field. I'd love to know what Andy Reid said.
Me too.
You know what I think Andy Reid said? Hey, dumbass, you were lined up off sides again! What in the actual hell? Get him off the mother bleeping field! He drops the ball for an interception. The next time out, Creed Humphrey has the ball on the 25-yard line. His stupid foot is on the 25-yard line. He cannot play for you anymore. Cut his ass. Cut him. He lines up offsides and cost you a game last week. Okay, blame the officials. He says it's bogus. He can't catch the football. It results in an interception and 7 points for the Broncos. The very next play, his foot is in the neutral zone. The football, the neutral zone. Creed Humphrey. I was making excuses and talking about, Creed Humphrey sort of pulls the ball back, because he puts it on the edge of where the ball is closest to the neutral zone, and so it's like vertical straight up, which was on the 25-yard line, which was where his foot was. The hell? Justin Watson was on the line of scrimmage as well, lined up with the guards. This dumbass is lined up with the center again. What did Andy Reid say to him coming off the field? I don't know. I would hope get your ass in the spot that it's supposed to be or sit on the bench.
With other games, the Dolphins destroy the Jets. Jason Waddle steps in up in Tyreek Hill's replacement. Former Chief, 142 yards. Zach Wilson exits with a head injury. Former Bronco Trevor Siemian comes in. He was not good enough. He threw 2 picks. The Jets turn over the ball 4 times in the blowout, 30-0. Dolphins over the Jets. Giants look back to the Giants of old. The Giants did beat the Packers last week, but the Giants lost 24-6. The Giants were 2 of 16 and under 200 yards on offense. Leading rusher was Tommy DeVito of the Giants, which wasn't good, especially considering they have Saquon Barkley, who only had 14 yards for 9 carries. less than 2 yards a pop. Panthers surprise the Falcons as they fall further in the playoff race. Atlanta gets upset by the Panthers as the Panthers advances 2-12. Bears happy to know that the Panthers still own the first pick as they traded to the Bears last year in the NFL draft. Bears will probably have the number 1 pick this next year. Speaking of those Bears, the Bears lose a close one to the Browns as the Bears led most of the game, but a field goal gave them the lead, and an unsuccessful pass Hail Mary thrown to Darnell Money dropped into the defense's hands, which was the Browns. The Browns win by a field goal. Packers get handled for the second week in a row. Baker Mayfield throws for 381, 4 touchdowns. Chris Godwin, 1 of 55. The Packers got within 7 to follow. The Buccaneers fumbled, and a 4th down attempt, which the fumble proceeded on, but if it would have been sacked, it would have been the same thing. The Buccaneers ran out the clock 34-20 at the end. Texan C.J. Stroud was out yesterday with former Case Keenum, who is back in uniform. He wore the uniform in 2012. He went for 229 yards and a touchdown. Most of the game, Case Keenum was okay. Case Keenum did throw a short pass to Nate Brown, and a 52-yard field goal in overtime gave them that game. 19-16 was the final. The 3 o'clock games. It wasn't the fact that the Cowboys lost yesterday. It was the fact that they lost so bad to the Bills. 31-10 was the final score. Let's go through that game. Dak Prescott doesn't get a touchdown. Josh Allen goes for 94 yards and a touchdown. James Cook was the difference, 179 yards and 1 touchdown, 131 yards. Bills had 131 yards on the ground. The Cowboys only had 131 yards. A difference was a back-to-back punts and opportunities to keep it close. But the Bills blew the boards open by half, 21-3. It already seemed that it was over. Unfortunately, I was watching the Mizzou game. More on that later. Final was 31-10. Ravens and Jaguars. The Jaguars squared off and missed opportunities, much like the Jaguars have done all season. They seemed like the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost to the Bills and Eagles in a game they shouldn't have lost to. It also lost to other games maybe they shouldn't have lost. A field goal from 50 yards, which was a long way out, but most of the time, kickers making 60% of the time nowadays. That was missed, and then another field goal was missed. A 5-yard field goal was missed. A fumble, and so instead of 9 points to 16 points, the Jaguars had 0. And by that time, the Jaguars did put a point on the board as they scored 10-7, but it was too late as the Ravens opened up the doors as they won 23-7. Lawrence doesn't look like he feels great. Lawrence fumbles. He had 264 and 1 touchdown. Lamar Jackson has 174 and a touchdown. Close to 100 yards. He had 97. The ball, 14 carries for the Jaguars. They could have ran it more, but honestly, it wasn't running success. But maybe they should have given it a little more chance. But when you don't have success, it's hard to do it. The Ravens do have the best team in the AFC, but do they have the best quarterback? Well, maybe Joe Flacco and Brad Johnson and Nick Foles did win a Super Bowl. Maybe the Ravens have enough talent to win the Super Bowl. The problem is the NFC is better than the AFC. My pick is the Eagles or the 49ers win the Super Bowl. Or is he Michael Vick without a Super Bowl? Pretty much. Or could the difference be he's Michael Vick with a Super Bowl? Maybe this year. I still predict, like I said, the 49ers or Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I picked that Eagles 49ers Super Bowl teams for the NFC, both contenders, before last night. Now I watched the Seattle and Eagles game, and that wasn't so impressing to me by the Eagles. At the end of the game, Jackson Smith and Jigba caught the winning touchdown. And then Seattle picked it off at the end with another amazing play. Seattle wins 20-17 on Monday night. Seattle 7-7, Philadelphia 10-4. They do drop though in the NFC East. Now the Cowboys are ahead, even though they lost this week. Cowboys, that is. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam